Hey, so the question is, what is P-20? Well, I guess we first have to look at, well, what is P-20 as far as in my lifetime? And the interesting thing is that, well, maybe the first thing I was aware of was years 1 through 12. There was a need for students to attend the first grade through the 12th grade. And then that changed, and we went with the term K through 12, and all of a sudden kindergarten came about. And kindergarten was this prep for the first grade. But I hadn't gone through kindergarten, it was new, so it got added in because there were things that students were supposed to know in first grade that apparently they didn't get taught at home. And so kindergarten was this new way to get students prepared for the first grade. And then we started talking about, well, there's P through 12. And then if you look, well, that P is right there. And that was preschool. So students weren't getting ready for kindergarten. And so someone said, well, let's start working with them before kindergarten and give them the opportunity for some advancement. And let's add in this thing we'll call preschool. We were still talking about 12. So the 12th grade was important. It signified the graduation from high school. And but then we got into, it was important to make sure that the occurrences up to that 12th year, that, hey, that they actually were tied in to higher education. So let's look at P16. Okay, so P16, so higher education came in. Hopefully students would graduate in 4 years, 4 plus 12, we had 16. So this was very important. But we've got P20. So just what is P20? So P20, well, there are all kinds of definitions, which is great because a few years ago there weren't hardly any that we could find. People didn't know what it was. So what was P20? So, we have P20. P20 is just great. It's wonderful that we start talking about these additional 4 years not only tie into additional higher education, but they tie into business and industry and organizations and the learning that occurs at that level. So then there were discussions, and we were looking at education from preschool to, is it 20 years of age? Is it the 20th year of education? Is it through the person who moves from the mailroom to the president, to the CEO, to the chairman of the board of directors? It is all this lifelong learning. The interface between the community back to the university, back to other individuals and corporations within the community, and their development and their leadership skills, and because to evoke new methods in education, we have to be strong leaders. And so P20 fell into this. And so we went from preschool to lifelong learning. And this was important, not only because people need to learn from early on in school and be educated by their parents and by the community and by the village. This is all that happened at pre, and we have the lifelong. But then some government officials stepped in and said that this P is now actually prenatal. So we've got prenatal going on, and now there are governors who feel that we should be ensuring that we take care of the mother and while she's having this child grow within her. So it is important that the child develop well. And so now we end up with some thinking that the definition is prenatal all the way through lifelong learning. Well, I was asked the other day, what is P-20? And I explained that that was a term that I didn't really think was going to change. That I thought that the 20 was encompassing, and personally I feel the P was fairly well defined. But I still think that this is an all-encompassing term. And the reason for that is we really need to look at P-20 as all-inclusive. And I'm thinking that the P now actually needs to mean pre-coitus. So there is a need now to ensure that prior to conception that we're doing everything we can for this child. And so when we have the dad and the mom, you know, out here and they meet and they decide that they're going to have a child, that they actually have a discussion. And they discuss what they're going to do to ensure this child has the best opportunities. But prior to them deciding that they're going to have this child, there are things they need to be concerned about. I mean, Sally may actually say to Bill, you know what, I think I'm going to have a drink tonight. And Bill may respond by saying, oh, remember what happened to the Sampsons? That Cunningham-Hurley study where they showed that the consumption of alcohol prior to coitus actually lost the child 2 ACT points. And that just ruined the kid's chances for MIT. So there are significant discussions that have to now occur for addressing the education pre-coitus. Now, when we get into the 20, well, the 20 is also very important. And we need to watch because if we've got the 20, and this is lifelong learning, well, just how long is that? That is quite an amount of time. So within the P-20 environment, what we've done is we begin to look at, well, not only life through the time that we're here as physical beings, but what about our existence as a spiritual being? And don't we need to nurture that aspect of our lives? So we've developed this wonderful tool that will not only be available, will learning and education be available to us during our normal lifetime, but we've been able to load all kinds of great materials to help us in the life after. We've got great books, great thoughts, great thinkers from the ages, hymns, all kinds of things included in this module. And so now, you know, you place this in the casket. If you're going to have ashes, it can be included in the process. and this device will travel with you and is available for everlasting learning. So now we're taking from preconception all the way to everlasting life. So it's extremely important to understand that education falls within this entire realm, and there's the responsibility for the P-20 learner to ensure that they understand the need for the education from the P to the 20. Now, even if there is the chance of you believe that you will come back as another being, the great thing about this tool is that we can provide information that will be useful in either visual forms or other methods, so that if you come back as plant or animal, for instance, if you come back as a tree, you may need to study things for a very long time on a very small perspective. If you come back as a cat, you may need to be able to study things visually and can only respond with some pictures. And so we've tried to anticipate that. And we even have a module there that, since you have 9 lives as a cat, it's going to record what happened to you when you lost the first one and what your new lessons need to be to avoid that problem. So again, P-20, preconception to life or extraordinary lives, long learning.